Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to run a large language model locally and directly on your desktop. So without the need for any subscriptions. So this is totally free. So you don't even need to create an account of some sort or get an API key. This is all done using the Ollama Python library. So if you're interested in seeing how to achieve this, just keep on watching. All right, so first thing you're gonna have to do is download the Ollama application on your desktop. To do so, you just have to go on the ollama.com website and download the application. So once the application is installed on your desktop, you're gonna want to open a command line to be able to run the Ollama application. So the available commands that you can write here are listed when you write the Ollama command. So basically, you can execute a bunch of tasks with these commands. By using the list command, this displays the available models that I have previously downloaded on my desktop. As you can see here, we have a couple of models that I've used in previous videos with their respective name, ID, and size. Then using the show command, we can quickly see some details on each model. So here, let's see the information for the Llama 3.2 vision model. So this displays key information about the number of parameters, the temperature, or say the last version release, which can be useful to know. Even though all this information, of course, can be found on the Ollama website. Now, if you want to download a new model to your desktop, you just have to use the pull command. So here, for instance, I'm pulling the Gemma 2 model. Now, this may take some time to download, but since I already have downloaded the model, it is pretty much instantaneous. Once the model is installed on your desktop, we can now send some prompts to it using the Ollama run command with the desired model, here being Gemma 2. All right, so let's try some basic prompt first and ask him, "Hi, how are you?" And we get a response. Now let's write something a bit more interesting by asking it to generate a Python code to load a CSV file. And it pretty much does what it's being asked. Now, of course, as with any LLM model, the most difficult part is to create the most ideal prompt for the model to execute exactly what you're looking for. As you can see here, this may be too detailed or not enough focus on the code part. But yeah, that's a quick example on how to send a prompt via the terminal. Finally, if you want to end the conversation with the model, you just have to use the /by command. Also, in the same way, if you want to delete a model from your desktop, you can use the Ollama remove command to do so. All right, so for this next part, I'm going to be showing you how to actually use the Ollama Python library to create your own chatbot that is run 100% locally on your desktop. So I'll also be using the Streamlit framework to create the chat interface. So first of all, of course, we're going to import the required libraries. So here, for instance, we're going to have the Streamlit library and the Ollama library. Then we're going to use the session state component from Streamlit to create a chat history. This is very important if you want to have an actual conversation with the model and that it remembers all the prompts you send to it. So here, this chunk of code is only to initialize a new item within the session state that we're going to call messages. And here we're going to loop on this messages list and create a chat message container that will include the role of the message. So either a user or an assistant, which here is actually the model, and also the content of the message. Next, we have this last section that details the creation of the chat input, which is not that complicated when looking at it. So first, we create a prompt variable that will contain the chat input from the user, which is actually this one here. So I have written, "What can I help with?" So this is the chat input. Then here we update the session state chat history with this new prompt so that it keeps it in memory. And we display the prompt with this code here, which is going to be under a user icon. Now, as for the model, we're going to be using an assistant icon, of course. And within this, we're calling an LLM model through the chat method of the Ollama library. Now here I have decided to use the Gemma 2 model, but there are plenty of other models that can be used. So yeah. Next, we're going to input a prompt through the messages parameter. So here, actually, we're going to input the whole chat history. So here we're looping again on the session state component to extract the combinations of roles and content to inform the model of what was said from both sides. So from the user and the model. I'm also using the stream equals true parameter so that the model automatically streams a response as soon as it has something to output. Next, we have this little function here. This is only necessary because I'm using the stream equals true parameter that actually outputs a generator function that is very useful for a streamed response, but it's kind of a mess to work with if you want to have a string version of the response, which is needed to update the chat history. So this is what this function does essentially, and we're extracting the response content through these calls here. And then lastly, we write stream the response and update the chat history with said response. All right, so when we run all of this, we get this chatbot right here. So let me just start and ask a basic question to start the conversation. So let's say I have a CSV file with sales data. How can I load it and check the first few rows in Python? Let's see how it works. So here you have the user prompt, and then the model is responding with a response. So it has computed a very detailed response. I like the fact that it can isolate the code part with the explanation part. So yeah. So let me add some other questions. So let's say I have some columns in my data set. Well, some columns in my data set have missing values. What are my options to handle them? Again, a very detailed response to treat the data that I have as for missing values. Yeah. So let me ask another question. So I have a date column. How can I extract useful features from it? So again, another very detailed response. You get the gist of it. So again, this is using Gemma 2 model, but there are plenty of other models that can be used. This was only to show an example on how to create your own chatbot. And as I mentioned earlier, this is all free to use and totally run locally on your desktop. So if you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.